Welcome to the 6th episode of the C4 Recovery Solutions podcast. I am your host, Jack O'Donnell. Some of you might know me as the CEO of C4 Recovery Foundation. As many of you know, C4 is dedicated to improving access to high-quality, ethical treatment services for behavioral health and social wellness. We are fierce advocates for the often overlooked individuals and underserved populations within our society. Through innovation and forward thinking, C4 has developed service delivery systems for addiction and recovery programs throughout the U.S. and throughout the world in some of the most challenging environments. Each week on this podcast, we will hear stories from people who have benefited directly from programs C4 developed, those who assisted C4 in the process, and especially those still involved in the implementation of the programs today. On today's episode, we're discussing the case study of the Northern Illinois Recovery Project performed by C4 Consulting. The Northern Illinois Recovery Center is a truly unique treatment facility. What began as an impromptu gathering of like-minded, sober individuals has evolved into a growing community of addiction specialists and people in recovery. From its humble beginnings in an empty warehouse to operating a legitimate treatment facility, Northern Illinois Recovery Center certainly understands the process of transformation. This is where Chris Reed comes in. Chris is a managing partner at the Northern Illinois Recovery Center. And now, here is his story.
So Northern Illinois Recovery Center has been around since 2018. We officially opened in early of 2019, and we have been in operation fully with our PHP and IOP program since July of 2019. We provide outpatient services as well as housing for people in an outpatient setting. The difference between the two is typically the hours per week somebody's engaging in services with us. PHP is 5 days a week and IOP is typically 3 days a week. And there's a difference between PHP, which is partial hospitalization program, and IOP, which is our intensive outpatient program. So we chose this location in Illinois primarily because this is where I personally got sober. I had also started a non-for-profit organization called New Directions that was based out of Crystal Lake. So when we first opened, there was a really positive reaction from not only just the recovery community, but the community in general. We have a pretty robust mental health and behavioral health network of services, and the substance use treatment space was pretty much at capacity. There wasn't a ton of providers in the local community. We serve at Northern Illinois Recovery Center a wide demographic and geography from the Chicagoland area, southern Wisconsin, northeast Indiana, and southern Illinois as well. Part of the reason for that is that we do offer pretty robust housing program that goes along with our outpatient program. Typically, one of the reasons that somebody's not engaging in outpatient services is there's barriers preventing them from doing that, whether that's transportation, getting to and from. They aren't in a stable living environment, so they continue to use in the outpatient setting. So we kind of eliminate those barriers by giving somebody a place to live while in outpatient with us. And that just kind of draws referrals from all over the Chicagoland area. We only serve adults, so 18 and up. As far as the standard demographic, I'd say about half the census is typically that 18 to 26 range, equal split between male and female, and then kind of that 36 to 56 range, male and female equal split. So we started with the partial hospitalization, intensive outpatient, and our housing program. Yeah, about 60 days after Northern Illinois Recovery Center opened, we did obtain Joint Commission accreditation, both in our clinical outpatient program and in our housing program. We have a sliding scale cash rate, and then we do take all major insurances. Our housing fee is really the only thing typically not covered by insurance, which is $600 a month. We started entertaining C4 as a consulting firm within about a year of our operation, maybe a year and a half into what we were doing. We had grown really quickly, and I didn't have a ton of experience, running or operating a clinical team, as well as an operations team in the substance use treatment field. So we started that engagement about 6 months ago, and it's been going really well. I think that the biggest changes that we've seen as a result of contracting with C4 was building a strong culture of leadership. I think we've been able to elevate the people on our leadership team to be performing at a much higher level, as well as creating a lot of efficiencies. They're able to bring in, this knowledge, and we're not repeating the same mistakes maybe other places have. And in the next 12 to 14 months, we'll have detox residential, PHP, IOP, and outpatient. Operating, our programming during the pandemic has had its challenges just within our own company. I think it forced people to work together, to be collaborative and creative, and a lot of the things that I think really set us apart and really allowed us to deliver good outcomes was us being able to take clients to outside meetings and take them to do their own grocery shopping and go to the gym, get a haircut. And so alongside the outpatient services they were getting clinically, they were also getting real life experience in the recovery community and participating in everyday lifestyle things that's going to help them readjust into life in recovery.
As Chris touched on, the Northern Illinois Recovery Center provides services to many people from Chicago and the surrounding counties. The ultimate goal of the center is to get each client back to living happy, fulfilled lives. The outpatient treatment options they provide support this goal. They do not wish to remove patients from their families and friends without cause. They can be valuable resources which offer patients vital support and comfort during what will be incredibly difficult times. Therefore, the ideal evidence-based addiction treatment center Northern Illinois offers will typically be an outpatient one. Their outpatient program options include a partial hospitalization program, an intensive outpatient program, an outpatient program, and sober living. For today's panel, we are joined by Chris Reed. First off, tell me a little about your position with the company. How long have you been with Northern Illinois Recovery Center, and how did you come to be the managing partner there?
Sure. I started this with one of our other managing partners, Rob Ryberg. We were able to really put kind of our minds together and bring this service to Illinois. We started this conversations in 2018. We were able to secure a building, put capital together, and get our treatment license from the state of Illinois. We opened the doors in July of 2018. So been there since it was a thought and a phone call, and now all the way through. My daily role within the organization is, as a managing partner, just continuing to grow the business and making sure that we are delivering the type of care that we want to deliver. Really enforce the vision of our ownership group, and then a sprinkle of putting out fires here and there.
A little bit of everything. That sounds great. I've actually opened a treatment center, in my past as well, and there's always challenges. What were some of the bigger challenges you had getting this up and running?
I think we had some Cadillac problems, to be honest. We went from 12 to, I think, 62 employees in the matter of 2 months, and just the challenges that go along with that, and making sure that processes were in place and that nothing was falling through the cracks. And I think we did a pretty good job. But yeah, there was certainly some things to go back and pay attention to when kind of the dust settled and we had everything in place. So when it comes to HR processes and onboarding and training and some of those things, we really had to go back and take a better look at.
Yeah, I've always said the role of a managing director or a CEO is more like a glorified HR person, because you do seem to spend most of your time, on HR issues. So tell me a little bit about how, in the planning process, how you settled on intensive outpatient as kind of your first product line, so to speak, versus, opening a residential treatment center.
Sure. So my background really comes from the nonprofit space and operating sober living. And that was really where I was the most comfortable. And for us, boarded PHP and IOP just seemed like a not low risk, but it just seemed like a palatable place to start. And it was. It allowed us to grow at a pace that was manageable, and it allowed us to not have huge capital investment from the beginning.
You know, I have to tell you, I was really excited to do this podcast with you today because, you know, C4 is really mostly known for its philanthropic work, developing systems in the public sector market. And I don't think a lot of people really realize that we have this robust consulting division. And that's actually the division that your organization wound up working with. How did that come about? How did C4 stumble into your life?
You know, our ownership group has some strong connections within C4, and this worked with C4 in the past. And, you know, I've known Jonathan DiCarlo for a little while. I've known Rob Ryberg for a long time since I started my, process in recovery. And I've just always known that Rob was involved.
Well, yeah, for those that don't know, Rob Ryberg is a partner in Northern Illinois Recovery Center. And actually, Rob is also a board member at C4. And to tell the truth about it, he actually started this consulting division some time ago as Peak Consulting, and C4 acquired that from Rob. Tell me, what was the first project C4 did? I thought I heard Jonathan tell me at one point that we initially came in, to do some insurance review for you.
We were working on contract negotiations with Blue Cross Blue Shield and some of the other payers in Illinois. So we had entered into a consulting arrangement with C4 to help us navigate that process and try to obtain the best possible rate. And somewhere in the midst of that, we began discussions on bringing in Jonathan DiCarlo as an interim CEO to try and build up our leadership team and just really ensure that we're of maximum service as a leadership team and that we were being the best that we could be for, the clients that were coming to us for help.
Both C4 and Northern Illinois Recovery Center, I think we were lucky in the sense that we had that kind of talent on the bench, so to speak, that we could slide somebody in at that very high level, the kind of the CEO level. What was that like for you? I mean, in your organization, having an outsider come in, at such a high level in the organization?
Having somebody like Jonathan come in as CEO, I am really not the type of person to pretend like I know everything or that I'm going to be the best at whatever. And I'm very open-minded, and I want to learn from people who have been in the industry. And at the end of the day, Jonathan brings that to the table and has so much experience in different roles within a wide variety of different organizations. So for me, I really look at it as an opportunity to learn, to improve our organization. And I know that this investment right now in the early years of our organization will pay dividends, right, for us long term. And so bringing him on, there was no friction. I think our leadership team was craving it. And for me, I only have, so many skills that I could bring to the table. And I think it just kind of went above what I was capable of doing.
Well, it's great to recognize that, but I think it also gave Northern Illinois, some time to do the adequate search to bring in somebody to replace your CEO, instead of feeling rushed and possibly bringing somebody in that, you're going to have more turnover. So I think it was a really wise decision on your part. And I'm glad it worked out because Jonathan does have the skill set, so that's great.
He's built a strong relationship with a lot of our staff and vice versa. So, I think he'll on some level be involved in some way, shape or form for a long period of time.
So he comes in to really kind of replace a key management person that left the organization at the CEO level. And then did you go back out and hire another CEO, or did you decide to knock it down a bit and bring in an executive director and then kind of give some room to grow?
We were able to bring in Nick Howell as our executive director with, intention of there being some growth opportunities there. So we're continuing to grow as an organization. We're bringing on detox and residential in the next few months. That executive director role will continue to have, opportunities and added responsibilities, and there'll be growth in that role.
So you've gone from kind of outpatient kind of services and you're moving into detox now. Is that a step toward residential as well?
Yeah, so we'll have a 16-bed detox and residential facility that will flex between detox and residential services.
Wow, that's terrific. So at the end of the day, Illinois Recovery Center is really going to have a full continuum of care for their clients, which really is the ideal model for long-term recovery here. It's just outstanding. I'm really glad. I'm thrilled that C4 has been able to help with this process, and we look forward to, hopefully a long-term relationship. I mean, that's what makes this case study so interesting for us, is that it starts with a very small project and we wind up doing 3 or 4 different things. And that's really a perfect relationship between a consultant company and the operator. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be involved. And we hope to have a long future with you. And most importantly, thanks for today. We appreciate that you are letting us tell our story and your story in this podcast.
I think that the value that you guys have brought to us is certainly there. And we are leaps and bounds where, past where we would have been if we were doing this on our own. So yeah, it's been a great relationship. And there's a ton of value in it for us.
Well, it really sounds like Northern Illinois Recovery Center is achieving its goals of getting each client back to living happy with fulfilled lives. So great job. And we hope to talk to you soon. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you for listening to the final episode of the C4 Recovery Solutions podcast, brought to you by C4 Recovery Foundation. For more information, please visit our website at c4recoveryfoundation.org or email us at contact@c4recovery.org. You can find both our email address and website in the show notes. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you'd like to listen. Stay tuned for more to come. I'll see you the next time on the C4 Recovery Solutions podcast. Goodbye.